Fiery crash that left 2 men dead. The victims were in a Tesla that burned for 4 hours. The cause still under investigation, but authorities say they are, quote, certain no one was driving the vehicle at the time of impact. The crash happened near the Woodlands in the Carlton Woods subdivision on Hammock Dunes Place.
Investigators say they have never seen a crash like this one. Just before midnight in the Carlton Woods subdivision near the Woodlands, officials say a 2019 Tesla Model S failed to navigate a turn. They say it smashed into a tree, causing a fire that burned for hours.
Our office has never experienced a crash scene like this. Normally when the fire department arrives, they have a vehicle fire under control in minutes. But this went on for close to 4 hours.
Precinct 4 Constable Mark Herman says more than 30,000 gallons of water were used to extinguish the fire coming from the Tesla's battery.
Once the fire was put out, investigators did determine that there were 2 victims inside the vehicle. Our investigation thus far has determined that one of the victims was in the front passenger seat, one was in the back seat, and that at the time of the accident there was no one in the passenger seat.
Constable Herman says the men are believed to have been 59 and 69 years old. However, they have not been officially identified. While the cause of the crash is still under investigation, the constable says investigators do not believe anyone was driving the car.
They are 100% certain that no one was in the driver's seat driving that vehicle at the time of impact. They're positive. And again, the height from the back seat to the front seat, that there would be almost impossible. And but again, our investigators are trained. They handle collisions. Several of our folks are reconstructionists, but they feel very confident just with the positioning of the bodies after the impact that there was no one driving that vehicle.
Yesterday, Tesla founder Elon Musk tweeted the electric car maker's accident data report for the first quarter of 2021, saying a driver of a Tesla with autopilot engaged is 10 times less likely to be in an accident than a driver behind the wheel of an average vehicle.
Scary moments for the car's owner. The first time the battery caught fire, and no one expected it to happen again.
As KPI, the Santa Clara County Fire Department says this is a pretty rare occurrence. In fact, this is the very first Tesla battery fire that they've ever had to deal with. And so, it's a learning process. This was the scene at 10 p.m. last night in Campbell. Firefighters sprayed several thousand gallons of water trying to douse the stubborn flames coming from the battery of this Tesla Model S. In a typical gas-powered car, it would have been over in no time. But it turns out getting to those batteries is difficult because they're so low to the ground. What's more, there's a thick metal plate to protect the batteries from puncture. Using a forklift, they propped up the car on some wooden blocks and really got in there.
We're going to access it the best we can, but at the same time, we're not going to be tearing into the batteries, no.
It turns out this was the second time this Tesla had caught fire. The first time, that was around 2 p.m. the same afternoon. The owner, who didn't want to be identified, was coming down Highway 17 when he got a low tire pressure warning. He made it to a tire shop in Los Gatos and was inside doing paperwork when he heard hissing, saw smoke, and shot this video himself.
This car had been in my house today, and we go on vacation or something, and the car suddenly catches fire, the whole house can burn down, right? So yeah, I'm certainly worried. My wife certainly doesn't want me to own another Tesla.
Santa Clara County says they followed Tesla's protocol to cool the battery with water and then observe it for heat and flames. After 6 hours and talking with Tesla on the phone, it was the fire department that made the final call to move the car to the tow yard. Is that the sense that you're getting, that this is still kind of a learning process for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the battery's actually burning, as we're seeing, presents a challenge that we need to become more familiar with. And again, we've been able to work with Tesla on that, and we'll continue to do it.
Tesla says the battery design, with its sealed units and firewalls, actually slows down the flames, giving passengers more time to escape, and that their cars catch fire about 10 times less than gas-powered cars. Tesla says they provide training to first responders and are expanding those efforts. As for what caused the fire in the first place, Tesla says the cause is under investigation.
So Teslas have crashed before. What makes this one so unusual?
Yeah, what makes this one so unusual is when the police and rescue got to the scene, There was no evidence that there was anyone in the driver's seat. The two dead men in the car, one was in the front passenger seat, and the other one, who was the owner of the vehicle, was in the back seat sitting upright. There's no evidence, the police say, that there was a third person involved, so it looks like the car was operating in a driverless mode.
Have we heard more details from the police as to what they think might have happened?
Well, from the scene, family members had told local media that the owner of the vehicle at one point pulled the car out of his driveway and got into the back seat and then took off. Now, what's not perfectly clear is whether the full self-driving mode or autopilot mode was engaged on the vehicle. That seems a likely presumption, but there's no evidence yet that the police are saying that. The fire.
Exactly. Given that Tesla talks about the full self-driving capabilities of their cars, is there ever a situation where someone shouldn't be in the driver's seat?
Never. On YouTube, sometimes you will see people filming, drivers who are asleep at the wheel, or situations where it appears that there is no driver. But that's because the vehicle can be kind of rigged a little bit to presume that pretend that there's a pressure on the wheel and that on the steering wheel. And there is nothing that Tesla says or does that should indicate that anyone should be operating a car without sitting in the driver's seat and in close control of the steering wheel, ready to take over if the vehicle has any issues.
That a Tesla, was traveling here in this subdivision, the Carltonwood subdivision here near the Woodlands, and it actually burst into flames after crashing into a tree. The scene is now clear, but I want to show you the tire marks here left in the grass that lead right up to this tree where the car crashed. We understand that there was a person in the passenger seat in the front of the car and then in the passenger seat in the rear of the car. It might have been in automatic driving mode. We're not exactly sure, but we do know that 2 males are dead as a result of this crash. And when firefighters got here, they say they had to use 23,000 gallons of water to extinguish the flames because of the car's batteries that kept reigniting. We know that Harris County Constable Precinct 4's office is leading the investigation, and they're trying to determine exactly what happened here. But we do know that the vehicle was traveling from the cul-de-sac on Hammock Dunes Place and failed to negotiate the curve, slamming into the tree, bursting into flames. Both victims transported to the Harris County Forensics Autopsy Center for an autopsy and identification. We're not exactly sure who those men are, but we do know that they've both passed away as a result of injuries sustained in this crash. Again, 2 men died as a result of this Tesla driving here and crashing into this tree.
Let's take a look at that live together. This is the aftermath, and that piece of plywood you see really gives you an indication of how close of a call this was for the family inside. From this Ring front door camera, the moment Miramar police say the driver of a Tesla loses control. Sudden, swift, and destructive.
The moment he hit our car, it was really, really loud. I thought her fender was bad, but it was the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign up against her car.
The car moving so fast along the front yards of homes along Miramar Parkway near Southwest 65th Avenue that even after hitting several trees in George Ellis's cars, take a look at this camera view.
Took out our hedge, took out a tree in front of his house, hit a Mazda.
Ending in a cloud of dust, mangled metal, and Ana Algui's family dealing with a hit to their home's foundation and vehicles after they say the driver careened into their front yard before colliding into their home.
We were shocked. He destroyed some cars over there, the tree, the house.
The substantial damage to these cars, a detached bumper and collapsed side panels, evidence of the immense force upon impact.
If these cars were here, it would have gone inside the house and something would have happened to my grandma mostly because she's right there.
Police say it happened around 4 this morning. The reason the driver of the Tesla lost control remains under investigation.
They estimated that it was about 140.
Clocking more than 100 possibly in what is a 25 miles per hour?
25-mile-an-hour limit.
Neighbors say the driver was taken to an area hospital. Police tell us they don't yet know the driver's condition.
They thought he was dead until fire rescue got here, and when they pulled him out, they said he does have a pulse.
Really fundamental message that consumers should be taking today is that it's financially insane to buy anything other than a Tesla. It'll be like owning a horse in 3 years. Autonomous cars will definitely be a reality. A Tesla car next year will probably be 90% capable of autopilot. So 90% of your miles could be on auto. For sure highway travel.
How is that going to happen?
With a combination of various sensors, you combine cameras with image recognition with radar and long-range ultrasonics. That'll do it. We're probably only a month away from having autonomous driving, at least for highways and for relatively simple roads. My guess for when we'll have full autonomy is about 3 years.
3 years.
Approximately 3 years.
I think probably by end of next year, self-driving will encompass essentially all modes of driving and be at least 100 to 200% safer than a person by the end of next year. We're talking maybe 18 months from now.
All cars being produced have all the hardware necessary, compute and otherwise, for full self-driving. I'll say that again. All Tesla cars being produced right now have everything necessary for full self-driving. All you need to do is improve the software. We expect to be feature complete in self-driving this year, and we expect to be confident enough from our standpoint to say that we think people do not need to touch the wheel, look out of the window, sometime probably around, second quarter of next year. Well, Tesla really faced a severe threat of death due to the Model 3 production ramp. Essentially, the company was bleeding money like crazy, and just if we didn't solve these problems in a very short period of time, we would die. And we expect to have the first operating robotaxis next year, with no one in them, next year.
Just so we understand the definitions, when you refer to feature complete self-driving, it sounds like you're talking level 5, no geofence. Is that what's expected by the end of the year? Just so we're all on the same page.
You say what is net present value of a robotaxi? Probably on the order of a couple $100,000. So buying a Model 3 is a good deal. You say, what would be the probable gross profit from a single robotaxi? We think probably something on the order of $30,000 per year. If you buy a car that does not have the hardware necessary for full self-driving, it's like buying a horse. And the only car that has the hardware necessary for full self-driving is a Tesla. People should really think about their purchase. Any other vehicle. It's basically crazy to buy any other car than a Tesla. I remain confident that we will have the functionality the basic functionality for level 5 autonomy complete this year. I am absolutely confident that this can be accomplished with the hardware that is in the Teslas today, and simply by making software improvements, we can achieve level 5 autonomy. I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
All right, and now it has us driving on the wrong side of the road and it disengaged full self-drive. So let's get back on the right side of the road there, shall we?
The robo-taxi business, if Tesla solves it, makes Tesla a multi-trillion-dollar company.
It is fascinating. I mean, it's just what next is Elon going to do? What next is he going to challenge? You know,
Saab has uniquely been one of the leaders of the grassroots movement of Tesla does zero marketing, literally zero marketing, but they're one of the best-selling cars in the world. And in the US because of word of mouth and because of people like Saab sort of spreading the gospel.
I don't know, like people have been saying about Tesla is like 5 years, 7 years ahead of competitors. I think it's way more than that.
It's about, I think, a 10 square mile area, or maybe 10 mile by 10 mile. I think it's 10 square miles. 10 square mile area of Chandler.
No, it's not correcting itself. So it was aiming for the opposite lane again. Don't like that, so I disengaged.
Oh, and then you missed that red light, buddy. Not good. I stopped it. I had to hit the brake. Don't go. It's red. Don't go. Told you. See, it does that sometimes. Like it'll stop at a red light and then be like, I think I'll go.
Okay, we shouldn't aim at this car. This person has done nothing.
Didn't get it. Wow, this is like not good.
Stop. Stop. Sorry, I couldn't let it go any further.
So we need to turn left here, but the van's kind of in our way. So, okay, you're just gonna turn into the van or what?
There have been instances where I felt that I was in danger of hitting another vehicle or another vehicle hitting me, and I needed to take over. These are the areas that you need to be vigilant. I cannot stress enough, please, as FSD Beta rolls out to everyone in the larger fleet, please be careful. Please be responsible. Be aware. Don't be looking at your phone. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Watch in all directions. The last thing that we want is something going wrong on FSD Beta.
I cannot say strongly enough that driving this software requires complete attention.
You're having to really pay attention. Like, look, right now my car is kind of weaving around.
Oh God, like, once again. Squeeze through there. Once again, it just wanted to go right into that car. Wow, okay. Whoa.
It was very close to a curb right there.
Yeah, wow, that was... It nearly just crashed my car into a curb, which wouldn't have been very nice, especially to my wallet.
And we expect to be confident enough from our standpoint to say that we think people do not need to touch the wheel, look out of the window, sometime probably around, I don't know, second quarter of next year.
All right, guys, so I previously reported in one of the prior builds that there was a glitch that allowed you to drive hands-free.
Some disturbing new video was taken on a busy freeway in LA and appears to show, as you can see right here, a driver asleep at the wheel. This is crazy. Asleep at the wheel of his Tesla. It's raising more safety concerns about the vehicle.
To the deadly crash, the car on autopilot using advanced technology. A big feature of the Tesla vehicle in question is that it allows drivers to let go of the wheel.
Tonight, Tesla confirming this car was in autopilot mode when it crashed in Northern California, killing the driver. Walter Wong was behind the wheel of the nearly $80,000 car heading into work at Apple just before 9:30 a.m. March 23rd. Tesla saying the Model X sent Wong several warnings to put his hands on the wheel earlier in the drive, but his hands were not detected on the wheel for 6 seconds prior to the collision. The car slamming into this barrier. Wong's brother telling ABC station KGO the 38-year-old engineer had complained 7 to 10 times the car would swivel toward that same exact barrier during autopilot. Walter took it into a dealership addressing the issue, but they couldn't duplicate it there.
That information has been received by the CHP. They've been acting on it for some time now.
Tesla saying its drivers make more than 200 successful autopilot trips per day on this exact stretch of road, going on to blame that highway barrier that's meant to reduce impact. Tesla says this is what it's supposed to look like, but this is what it looked like the day before Wong's deadly crash because of a previous accident. Loved ones saying it should have saved the father of two's life.
A new video is exposing a potentially fatal flaw in Tesla's autopilot feature.
I was on my way to work today. I drive up and down 101. I decided to test the subsection of the road where that autopilot accident happened. So I took a quick video, or tried to actually, of that section of the road where 101 splits off into 85 on the left. And the results are kind of freaky. So it's not great because I low-key freaked out, but the car definitely starts swerving left without giving me any warnings right into that divider.
It's time to get that daily news. I ain't watching TV, I'ma log on to YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. On a sensitive subject, keep it 100, don't bite no tongue. If you cannot take the truth, then this is finna hurt. Who's to say if it's a round or a flat earth? Stick to the facts. What's some feelings? I don't do no capping. Read that paper, seen that news. Now you know what happened. Playing a pretty picnic, but they control that weather. Same crisis actors, like we don't know no better. Thing about the truth, always come to the light. Problem is too many, all bark, no bite. Like muscle, no might. I don't know what happened to them, but I know the way they said, somebody ain't right. It's time to get that daily news. I ain't watching TV, I'ma log on to YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Talking about that raw, uncut news. You a fool, you believe in mainstream and local news. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe.
On Hallandale Beach Boulevard around 10:30 Monday morning. Witnesses telling us everyone involved is lucky to be alive.
Only telling us it has launched a special crash investigation into what it's calling a violent crash. You can see from our Chopper 7 the nose of that white Tesla sliding all the way underneath the tractor trailer just past the intersection. In general, NHTSA investigations like this are used to examine special crash circumstances or outcomes from an engineering perspective. This isn't NHTSA's first time digging into a Tesla versus semi crash. In 2016, it launched an investigation into this fatal crash in Florida, where a 40-year-old driver passed under a semi-trailer and eventually struck a utility pole. Data from the wreckage shows the driver was using Tesla's advanced driver assistance features, like the traffic-aware cruise control and auto steer. In 2019, another fatal crash in Florida involving a semi. In that case, too, investigators found the autopilot system was in use, and as long as 8 seconds before the impact, the driver's hands weren't on the wheel.
A Tesla that police say was going nearly 130 miles per hour plows into a black Infiniti SUV on the MacArthur Causeway.
It happens in the blink of an eye. Police say a black Infiniti SUV with a green light pulls a U-turn on the MacArthur Causeway at Fountain Street, and a westbound Tesla slams into it.